Hey y'all, Rob here with ATX Legal, and today I'm excited to introduce Rian Butler. He's a personal injury attorney based here in Austin, Texas. I've worked directly with him on a couple of cases, and he's here to answer a number of common questions people have once they've been injured.
Hey guys, I'm Rian Butler with the Rian Butler Law Firm. Today I want to answer the question, how long will my personal injury case take? This is one of the most common questions we get when we first talk to a potential client. Unfortunately, there's no clear, direct answer. There's a huge range of outcomes, so I'd like to talk to you a little bit about what goes into it and how long it can take. To give you a short answer, a case can take anywhere from a few weeks to a few years. There's really two types of stages that these cases go through. We either resolve them in what's called pre-litigation, which means without a lawsuit, or in litigation, which means a lawsuit was required. In that pre-litigation phase, if we can get it done without a lawsuit, you're looking at a couple months, maybe 2 or 3, up to about 8 or 9 months. If it needs to go into a lawsuit, probably at least a year to get the case resolved, sometimes over 2 years, depending on how close you get to trial, or if a case ultimately has to go to trial. The biggest thing that goes into how long a case takes is someone's treatment. We got to finish treatment first before we negotiate a case, because you can't negotiate a settlement when you don't know the extent of someone's injuries. Are they better? Are they going to have future problems? Do they need more treatment in the future? Do they need a surgery or some type of long-term care? These questions go into what a case is worth, and you don't want to settle it short just to get a case done sooner rather than later. For some injuries, like a brain injury, these can take a year or more to fully set in and fully realize what the extent of someone's injury is. And then you go from there to start treating it and figuring out what the long-term care is. So in complex, serious injury cases, you're looking at well over a year and sometimes more than 2 years. Sometimes we're fighting over just the simple thing of who is at fault. Most of these cases can look simple at first glance, and then you get into the defenses from the other driver or their insurance company, and they get dragged out way longer than you may have thought. Some of the things I see in these cases that make them last longer than they should is a driver that's at fault, the other driver, just plainly denying that they did anything wrong. They'll say they didn't see the plaintiff, my client, coming, when they really just weren't paying attention. They'll say my client was driving too fast, when really my client's going the speed limit, and the other person is maybe trying to cut across too many lanes, or trying to cut across where there's a curve and they shouldn't be cutting across 4 or 5 lanes of traffic. These defenses give a freebie to the insurance company. When their own insured is digging their heels in that they weren't at fault when they really were, now the insurance company gets to delay a case months or years longer than it should have been. Some other defenses I see are a sudden or unavoidable emergency, which really isn't sudden and really wasn't unavoidable. The big one you see in this is when there's a quick backup of traffic, and maybe there's another crash, or a car gets a flat, and traffic kind of comes to a halt out of nowhere. Well, my client was able to stop behind the car in front of them, and here comes the defendant and rear ends or sideswipes into my client, and they try and blame it on the traffic up ahead. Well, it really wasn't the traffic up ahead that caused the crash, but the insurance company is going to sit behind that defense when that person refuses to take responsibility. Sometimes you just get a plain errors on a police report. I've had clients that were taken from the scene and weren't able to talk to the police and give their side of the events, and the police takes one side, or they take a witness who didn't see everything, or they get the 2 cars flipped and they say that the second car is at fault, which should have been the other driver, but they put my client in there. And when you have a police report that's wrong, now you're setting back the fight with the insurance company by a few months just to get the dust settling in the right direction. The most important thing when it comes to the length of a personal injury case is to not move too fast. Don't rush to a settlement. Don't rush to get things done just for the sake of getting them done. Let the injuries fully heal, fully develop, get the treatment you need, and let the case take as long as it needs. Hire a personal injury lawyer you trust, who's going to treat you right, going to take the right amount of time. Consults are free. Look at my information below. Give me a call, shoot me a text, or give me an email.